It's Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14, and this is truly an honor. Reed Duthie back in the booth. Neil Srivastava was moved out to my left, and in the middle is former Toronto Blue Jay, and now Hamilton's own police force, the newest member, Dalton Pompey. Dalton, this is a real honor. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Now, you are in an interesting spot tonight as a now Hamilton guy, being on the police force, but your brother is playing for the Guelph Royals. Where do the allegiances lie tonight?
I'm torn, I played with Guelph last year, so I got to show love to Guelph, but I'm still rooting for Hamilton, so I hope it ends in a tie.
We just have to go to about 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, to get the tie.
Right.
Dalton, your career, absolutely spectacular. Neil and I were joking earlier about some of the clips that still run on Blue Jays broadcasts on Sportsnet. What did you take away from your time in the majors?
Oh, it was great. Like me having that opportunity as a kid from Mississauga to come out and play for my hometown team was special. Something I'll never forget. I was fortunate enough to play on those teams, that went to the playoffs, and we had a good run. I thought we should have made it farther than we did, but it is what it is. But I really enjoyed my time, and it's great memories just thinking back at my time with the team and just the era that I was there was special.
Being from Mississauga, the first time that you buttoned up that Blue Jays jersey in the locker room, put the cap on, and ran out in Rogers Center, what was that feeling like?
Oh, it was surreal. It's like everything that I worked for in my life was just complete at that one moment. I think anybody that has their dream to do anything that they want to do in life, and then when you finally accomplish it, it feels surreal, and I owe it all to visualization. I was always seeing myself wearing the uniform. I could see myself walking down into the tunnel, myself on the field, and then when it actually happened, it just felt like deja vu.
It's Justin Interessano, the first baseman, batting against Jason Wilbur, count 2-2. We're alongside Dalton Pompey, formerly with the Toronto Blue Jays and the Guelph Royals, now with Hamilton Police. And Dalton, how did your relationship with the Guelph Royals come about? Because being from Mississauga, that's not exactly the team that you would have thought of as being your first stop in the IBL.
Right. It was actually Dino Rommel, the manager of Guelph. He kind of reached out to me, and he was kind of like that little fly in my ear. I was like, no, I don't want to play. And then he just kind of stayed on me. And I didn't really know much about the IBL. I knew guys that played it in the past, but I didn't know what kind of league it was or anything like that. And he really just sold me on it. And, I got to play last year, and I really enjoyed my time in this league. I think it's very competitive, and I think there's a lot of good players in this league.
We're seeing what feels like a real rebirth of the IBL as Jason Wilbur earns himself the strikeout. As again, we're alongside Dalton Pompey in the booth, and the IBL for years, and we've seen it with Eric Spearin here in Hamilton, saying that the Hamilton Cardinals were the most undervalued sports property in the city, and it feels like that has kind of been true throughout the IBL. And in the last few years, it's been an uptick in attendance, an uptick in talent in the league, yourself, your brother being at the heart of that. And now we're seeing the results as crowds come up around the league. It's at its most competitive. I mean, we've seen the Brantford Red Sox, who struggled last year, have played a lot of competitive games this season. What are your thoughts on the IBL from your time getting into it? After you said you didn't know a lot about it coming in, and seeing all the different competition, and you came in at a great time as the crowds were starting to increase.
I think they're doing a better job of promoting it. I think every team's putting more money into marketing and saying that, this is a good league. There's a lot of good players in this league, and it's really good quality baseball. And I think that opportunity for fans to come out and see a legitimate game, right? You got guys who played ex-pros, and you got college athletes. You still got guys who are still playing college right now, so as their summer league. So as a fan, you can't really ask for more. And just talking to the guys, talking about the talent that's here, and how the league is just changing into a more competitive league than it already is, and it's something that's great to see.
How much fun is it to see your brother now playing on the Guelph Royals?
It's cool, a couple of people came up to me and they're like, "Oh, I thought that was you at first, but then it ended up being your brother." And I was like, "Yeah, we have a lot of similarities." And I haven't seen him play in a long time, so it's good to come out and just see him in uniform and watching him compete.
Canadian baseball, Dalton, as Chris Robinson attempting the bunt to get on base, and Jason Wilbur with the flip over to Josh Niles for the out. Canadian baseball always felt like it's been sort of the little brother in a lot of ways to hockey in the country, and I think it's been treated that way. But when you see Canadian baseball on the world stage, and how quickly, and again, you've been right at the heart of this, how quickly it has made an impact and how quickly you're seeing Canadian talent now getting into the majors. What has it been like to be a part of the real rise of Canadian baseball?
I think it's just a credit to the funnel system that's coming up in minor baseball, right? Like the coaches are more dedicated. There's more facilities. When I was a kid, we trained in gyms, right? And now they have their own full-blown facilities that are like state-of-the-art, right? They have every opportunity to maximize their potential more than they did in the past, and that's why I think you're seeing such an influx of quality players coming out of Canada now.
Where does baseball in Canada have to go next, in your opinion, after seeing it at the major league level yourself?
I think they just got to keep doing what they're doing. I think they're going down the right path, and as long as they continue to funnel money and scouts recognize the talent here, I think the sky's the limit.
Jason Wilbur earns the strikeout to end the top of the fourth inning. We're going to stay right here as we are so honored to be joined by Dalton Pompey. And Dalton, as your career now gets going with Hamilton Police, we want to ask you to stick around here with us for a couple of minutes. You got time to hang around for the bottom of the fourth?
Absolutely, I'm here.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball. Dalton Pompey's in the booth. This is fantastic. You're watching on Cable 14. Welcome back to Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. It's Reed Duthie, Neil Srivastava out to my left, and Dalton Pompey. Yep, formerly the Toronto Blue Jays, now a Hamilton guy, sitting up in the booth with us. Neil, while we're doing the three-man booth up here, what do you want to ask Dalton while we've got a hold of him?
Favorite memory of last year?
Of last year? Oh, man, there was a couple. One of the not-so-good memories is when Hamilton beat us in Game 5, but we're not going to talk about that.
We don't have to talk.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But just like the way that our team competed against Toronto, I feel like we had like a little bit of a rivalry with them, and like we had a lot of close battles. Every game that we pretty much went to extra innings, and just like the desire to win and compete at a high level in this league is second to none. And I was very surprised by how invested a lot of these guys are, and like, you know, they're open to practicing and like working out a couple times a week, and like they take this seriously. So
do you find yourself leaned upon, although you were in your first year in the IBL, but as a veteran presence for Guelph last year because of your experience at the highest level?
Yeah, I tried to be that for guys. You know, I tried to be that outlet for guys to talk to, and if they had any questions or like, you know, tell me stuff about their swing or if in the field, or just try to be that positive outlet that I could be and offer whatever, you know, positive outlook I could, and use my knowledge of, you know, spending over a decade in professional baseball that can help them in the future with their career, or you know, some of the older guys, just, you know, keeping them on the righteous path.
A decade in professional baseball plus, and you make the turn now to the Hamilton Police Department. How did that turn come about for Dalton Pompey?
Actually, it was the owner of Guelph, Sean Fuller. He, the deputy chief in Hamilton, reached out to him because I had voiced my desire to, you know, get into emergency services, and he had messaged me and said, hey, the deputy messaged me and he wanted your number, and I said, yeah, give it to him 100%. And his son was actually drafted by the Blue Jays, Owen Diodati, and he was a catcher, and he ended up going to Alabama. I think he's at Oregon now. So there was some familiarity there, and obviously him coming from a baseball background, he kind of understood where I was coming from, and from a sports background. But I feel like a lot of the attributes in policing are similar in baseball as well.
Third baseman Lane Renault strikes out as Hector Yan has been on fire. Luis Pimentel Guerrero, the young second baseman, coming in. When you were growing up, Dalton, who were the guys that you really looked up to in baseball?
I was a big fan of like most of the Jays guys in like the early 2000s, like Vernon Wells and Shannon Stewart, Orlando Hudson. You know, it's crazy. I remember Orlando Hudson, when I signed with Arizona, he's like one of their special assistants, and he was there, and he gave me his gloves, batting gloves, as a kid. And I told him I still remember when he gave it to me. And obviously, you know, when you're in that position, you don't remember, but it's just how powerful, you know, these interactions are with some of these kids, right, when you're in that position. So I looked up to a lot of those guys, and I wanted to be like them, and I got the chance to be just like them.
As a kid, when a guy like Orlando Hudson gives you his batting gloves, it's something that Orlando's probably done a few times in his career, but for you getting those, that's got to be something that instantly right there, you're a fan, you want to do this, and it's something that's going to drive you forward. Did he really pick up on how big that was to you, that interaction from when you were a kid?
I think sometimes they don't understand the impact, right? Like, I would try to be that person for young kids too in baseball. Whether I sign a ball for them, give them a ball, sign their bat, give them my batting gloves. It's something so small, but it goes a long way, right? And it goes a long way in driving them to hopefully reach their dreams and whatever they want to do in life.
Dalton, I've made it no secret on broadcast, and Neil and I joke about it all the time because the Red Sox are playing the Blue Jays tonight. I grew up a Red Sox fan because of a love for the Boston Bruins and same TV stations. But when you see Canadians succeed at the highest level, it's pretty darn hard not to root for the Blue Jays when you were a member of them. It's great to see local talent make that rise up. And speaking of local, how much did you know about the city of Hamilton before you ended up being now a big part of this city?
Not too much. I remember when I was a kid, I played at Arbour, though. So that was my fondest memory. I had a workout with the Thunderbirds when I was like 13. So there's been some familiarity with it. And, I played games here as a kid. So coming here, it wasn't like totally out of the blue, But like me working with the police now, I get to enjoy the community more. I get to meet a lot of the faces that we see here. And, I really like the people that are here.
My parents still live just down the mountain, so I know they're going to be looking forward to seeing you around in the community as we all are. Talking about Bernie Arbour Stadium and the difference for the Hamilton Cardinals now under new ownership, and we understand new lights coming in around the stadium for next season, but how much fun is it to see this kind of electricity for IBL baseball in this city?
It's so good to see a lot of fans out to these games. I feel like they got a strong team, they got a good fan base if they put the money into the stadium, and I feel like that's what they're doing. They're putting money into the team, and I think when you do that, the fans will show up when you put a good product on the field.
Dalton, what are you most looking forward to being a part of this city, being a part of the police force now? Is it getting the interaction with the folks here in Hamilton, and is it going to be interacting with a lot of the youth in the community?
Yeah, it's a little of everything, just getting to know the people, helping people every day, just trying to be that positive outlet for them. I think that with my background, some people know what I used to do, so they kind of look to me as like a leader in the community, and that's exactly what I signed up for. And I don't need my flowers. I just do it because I wanted to do it. And I'm really passionate about making people be the best version of themselves.
Dalton, it's really been an honor to have you up here with us. Neil's a big fan. I'm a big fan. And even more so now that we're going to have you in this community. I know you said you don't need your flowers for it, but thank you for all that you have done and all that you're going to be doing in this community. As someone who grew up in this city just down the mountain, it's really special to have you be a part of it. Thanks for being here with us tonight.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's Dalton Pompey, formerly of the Toronto Blue Jays, now of the Hamilton Police Force. If you see him around town, give him a smile and a handshake. You've been watching Hamilton Cardinals Friday Night Baseball. We'll be right back with more after this on Cable 14.